Hello everyone, this is Bagels, in for the epilogue of Snowbound Blood. Now this is a bit different today because I'm not in the UK, I'm in North Carolina at my girlfriend's house recording this because I just had to get this done as soon as I could. I don't want to wait, so this won't be edited that well. It won't be edited at all really. Also, I'm using 2 monitors, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, she's here for emotional support. Anyway, yeah, I had to re-download this game and go for every volume again. But here we are, Epilogue Till Death, and I wonder who that is. I think I know who that is. Are we ready? Content warning? No. Oh. Starting with Seinru. Oh no. Hello there. Are you listening, deputies? I know you are. I can hear your shallow, panicked breaths. Is mine not the voice you expected? Okay. Oh, the questions that must be racing through your pitiable little minds. The answers you seek, at length, have already 1 foot in the grave, with the other soon to follow. But I've one to spare, in brief. Just a single solitary word for you to ponder on the eve of your oncoming oblivion. Listen close, regulators. This is the last you'll ever hear of me. Ready? Checkmate. That's kind of... Oh my god, that's... Oh! I hate that so much! A crunchy click yields to static, punctuated with a solemn disconnection ping. The silence that follows is all enveloping. Oh, actually, hold on. Options. What's there? Okay, there we go. Silence that follows all enveloping. Wind on gravel, dust scraping against concrete. A howling echo of distant nightlife reverberates through the empty monorail station, like a ghost unknowingly mourning its own death. You consider the train car where Cecily Iopara barely managed to save a hog-tied Necron Exmort from a ticking time bomb set by her quarry, the perpetrator at the center of Operation Snowbound Blood, Orbzi Mort. A short while ago, Cecily told Orica Roust, I keep forgetting how to say that name, and yourself to come here and help Necron. Then she ran off to... somewhere. Who are we? Are we Orica? We're not Orica. No. Your finger slips away from your earpiece. A spring of razor wire coils ever tighter in your chest. A thermite singularity melting a hole straight through you. I still read too quick, even after all these years. It takes all of a breath to swallow that cutting, burning heat and set the whole mess aside. On any other night, the swiftness of your compartmentalization might give you pause. But your name is Mashiri Libita, and you've been expecting this for a long, long time. I knew we were Mashiri. That one preview image, it just felt very Mashiri-esque. If that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Before receiving that mysterious broadcast, Necron had been running from alley to alley, shouting Cecily's name while Orica sat cross-legged with a computer on her lap. She's trying to get a fix on the missing regulator's location through IVS. His wounds are still fresh. Whichever villain attempted to drag him to, presumably where Cecily was taken to, must be in a much worse state. Despite his recent battle damage, he seems far too focused on the current matter at hand to notice. Now they both stare at you, and then at each other, frozen and confused. Exmort jogs back across the street to rejoin you under the monorail's tattered awnwing. Oh god, new Necron sprites. What the blazes was that? Some stupid hacker just ganked our line again? Oh, I built our communicator with a unique carrier signal. If I could do a spectrum analysis... Oh no, he's got tears in his eyes! No, Necron! Let's time Chatterbox in, babe. We're on the clock here. Right, yeah, give me a sec. Sweat. Your lips purse. Orca taps away at her computer in a panic. Unease claws at the edge of your thoughts. Necron starts pacing in a short circle, infrequently glancing up at you expectantly. What are your thoughts, Miss Shiri? Got any idea where she might have run off to? I'm thinking that slimy basher's got her holed up in one of these trap hives. Oh no! The voice trails down at the end. Necron almost trips over himself trying to reach her side. What's the sitch? Lighting confirmed. The transmission depth came from Stressely's earpiece. Worried. Tell me you got a location on that sucker. What the fuck? Tracking's blocked. What do you mean it's blocked? I mean there's no location metadata, shoutpole. Unless it's disabled. Try something else then. Can you, like, I don't know, triangle the signal or something?
already did that. What kind of newbie do you take me for? Rolling gander bulbs. Get with the skinny already!
She turns her screen towards the both of you. On it shines a map highlighting all the communication hubs throughout the stronghold and across Repeton. Dozens of locations lit up with Cecily's signal, all showing the exact same timer code.
Hate to say it, but she could be anywhere, frowning. She was just here! They could have gone that far, right?
Not unless she was subdued and transported elsewhere. When the mate spirits meet your gaze, you see in their eyes a deep desire to argue. You watch their breathing accelerate, their body language grow more anxious.
Anxious.
You've seen this before. You know it as intimately as any other sensation you've come to master in your time as a temp.
Well, what are we doing here then? Lollygagging like a bunch of deadbeats. Our gal's got herself kidnapped.
Checkmate.
Huh?
The voice we just heard. It said checkmate.
Cold sweat. A boss with an axe to grind will say anything to get a reaction. What's your point?
You know what my point is, Necron. A dreadful knowledge percolates in the air between their shivering bodies, the chill they share defying the artificial tolerability of the Stronghold's climate control.
Vanquished.
A waving intonation barely rises above the background noise. Necron huffs and crosses his arms.
I can't believe you two! I mean, you ain't seriously suggesting...
When he sees that you are seriously suggesting, his expression sours and he hocks a rebellious loogie into the dirt.
No way. I don't buy it. So you think it was just a bluff to get us off their tail? It's gotta be! They're messing with us. That's all these daggone cultists know how to do. These stupid mind games get us second-guessing ourselves.
They look so anime.
I guess so. Skeptical. I know so! That noxious fella jerked your chain around plenty, remember? Of course I do, Ronnie, but that wasn't his voice. Well, hell, Garland, we don't know that. You sure fooled me with yours not a couple of hours ago. Come on, sis has gotten out of worse scrapes than this. It's obviously a trick. Gotta be. That guy didn't sound like much of a trickster to me, Doubtful. What's that got to do with anything? They're all liars, the damn freaks. They just want to make us give up, or... Hell, what do I know what's going through with the demented mind of some low-life social deviant? A lie's lie, I ain't about to give up on the sturdiest, fightingest gal I ever...
She's dead. He looks at you like a kicked bark beast, like you've slipped a knife between his ribs. Orca coughs out a sullen surprised sob and covers her mouth with both hands. No! She simply tries to wipe at her face, but is met with the glass plating of her helmet. After a moment of hesitation, she removes to dry her tears. You wish more than anything to give comfort, to placate the hypotheticals and possibilities, to pay lip service to the technicality that none of you know for certain that the worst has truly come to pass. We've been around this block before. You've seen what happens when comfort overrides truth. Cecily Iopara is dead. You're wrong. She's gone. Stop saying that! You don't have to play pretend.
Come on, Sherry, you can't believe those crazy lunatics!
Would kill a chief regulator who has plagued their operations for blinks on end. Or torment her survivors with an infuriatingly cryptic epitaph. I find it quite easy to believe, actually. The twitch of muscles beneath his cheeks, the dance of agony and raging denial. You watch it unfold like a car crash in motion. He grinds his teeth as he speaks. Now I'm not giving up on her. Shallow, rapid breathing. Necron arcs his back and shouts to the sky with all his might.
You hear me, you simpering clowns? I'm not falling for any more of your fucking lies! You're too late, Hourglass frown. Where are you? I know you're listening, so come out of the shadows and face me already! You should have grabbed the whole crew and beeline straight here as soon as your signal dropped. This is all my fault. No, Lorica! Like hell it is! I'm supposed to be your partner on the battlefield. It was that slimy bastard's dirty tricks. I was supposed to defend her. Instead, she wasted time having to save my sorry ass while the whole embarrassing debacle was broadcast on live TV. I failed her. I fucking... Oh no. I hate this so much.
He wheels back his mechanical arm and plows it into a concrete wall, then again and again, punctuating each blow with a full-throated scream.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
His head slumps against the cracked, crumbling cement, gritting his teeth, eyes squeezed shut. It should have been me bleeding out in the cold somewhere, not her. Arca reaches out to him, but can't seem to will her legs into standing up.
Don't say that! That wouldn't be any better, Steamed.
I'm sorry, hun, it's just... Necron knocked his fleshy palm uselessly against the wall. He tries to wipe the tears from his cheeks, but the dirt on his hands just turns them to mud. This ain't over. I'm gonna track these suckers down and tear them limb from limb until I find her. You will do no such thing.
Why not?
Because it's not what Cecily would have wanted. She'd rather her partner keep his head and focus on the bigger picture.
You got a choice in the matter. If she's still out there, if there's even a chance she's still alive.
She did get a choice. And this is where it led. This is where it's always going to lead. She made sure of that with every stubborn step. He lay comforting hand on his back. Necron flinches away from it with a growl and storms off, kicking rocks, arguing with air. No point trying to reason with him now, you think. Best to let the rage run its course. In the meantime, you turn your attention to the silently weeping Orica. You descend to your knees beside her, your fingers entwined in your lap.
This is what you get for waiting to be told what to do. I had a feeling, you know. When the pirate broadcast started and all our comms went haywire, I knew something bad was gonna happen. But I ignored it. I convinced myself I was just paranoid and kept on sitting there waiting for orders like a dummy.
This is your role in the operation, Orica. Did exactly what he was supposed to do.
It's not what Cess would have done. If it was her in my place, the minute she had that bad feeling, I was a coward for waiting. I could have saved her if I just listened to my gut.
You pull her into your arms and let her cry into your shoulder. The tears are warm and she clings to you like a raft going over a waterfall. It's tempting to rely on science importance. When we remember those bad feelings that turned out to be correct, forget all the ones that came to nothing. It was the braver thing for you to wait. You did as best as you could given the actionable knowledge in your possession.
It's not true. The body knows. It's like a seismometer for tragedy, and I'm the hapless scientist who saw all the warning signs, just let it happen anyway.
It is simply untrue. If you've been here, the only difference would have been the addition of your death on top of hers.
I don't think I can let myself believe that.
Why not?
Because it means they beat us. Just straight up and down, start to finish. We got played. It means she got played, and she lost. Cess never loses, right?
I'm sorry to say, Orica. Cecily lost far more often than she won. It just happened to be the kinds of losses that wouldn't show up on the mission report.
So the whole operation was a lost cause?
You stare at her wordlessly. It's a question you've pondered on more than one occasion, especially when Cecily was asleep in your arms. You decide to give her the answer that she would have given if she ever had the chance. It was never a lost cause. It won't be until we are all dead. You rise to your feet and pull Orica up with you. Either satisfied with exhausting her tear ducts or numb to the notion, she dons her helmet back on, almost as if to mask her turmoil. Just then a loud blast reverberates through the ruins. Orica yelps. Several yards away, Necron had blasted a hole in the ground with his boomstick arm. He's shouting, screaming, blue tears staining his cheeks, though his expression is in denial of the weeping. Necron, that's enough. He turns on you. Again betrayed, marching up to you like a freshly reduplicated wriggler throwing a tantrum. Orica puts herself between you, but seems uncertain as to whose side she's taking.
Enough! Not by a damn sight! Nah, no man, I'm just getting started. I'm gonna find those cantankerous, lily-livered zealots, and give them all something to really pray about. Zealots, whatever. We've already paying down so hard and so fast they'll be begging me for mercy. When I find the son of a bitch that did this to you, you best believe they'll be telling horror stories about it in the collective unconscious. Perhaps you will, but not tonight. No offense, Miss Sherry, but I ain't asking. I've had it up to here with playing nice with these scoundrels. It's time to get mean. You with me, ain't you, sugar? Premising.
Orica wavers, glancing back at you with uncertainty.
I don't think that's a very good idea right now. Those are just nerves talking. All need a solid plan and lots of guns. We can get both real easy. Come on, you trust me, don't you? You trust me more than anyone, Ronnie. So I can't let you do something so stupid as running off to get yourself killed. You said your run-of-the-mill mob of disorganized scumbags. These guys have resources. We have no idea what we were up against until now. And acting all gung-ho trying to fix that isn't going to make the situation any better.
Necron is flabbergasted. Doubt Orica has ever had to tell him that their usual methodology has its flaws, but right now, panic has completely taken over.
I need you. I don't want to lose anyone else.
Eating shrimp. That's it.
Neither do I, darling. We've got duty here.
She shakes her head and presses a firm fist against his chest.
Our duties to each other, remember?
A long stretch of moments, it seems like he could storm off on his own at the drop of a pin. Finally, his shoulders slouch and he pulls Orica into a big hug, while they whisper to each other if anything is inaudible to you. They then embrace hand in hand and face you, eyes sparkling at the edges.
Fine. What's the play?
We have to inform the heir.
What?
Lester and Miffy. We have to tell them as soon as possible.
Ugh! Shouldn't they know already?
I'm not sure. My gut tells me they don't.
And then what? We just wipe our hands and hope the numbskulls of corporate will give her justice?
You You feel a spike of frustration and immediately tamp it down. It would take dangerously little to push Necron right back onto the path of self-destruction, and ultimately this has nothing to do with how you feel. This is about him and his need for a light at the end of his particular tunnel. So you wield Cecily's conviction like a flashlight and tell him what you want to believe. This is not the end of our fight. If anything, it is only the beginning. Every moment we waste in indulging in rank histrionics is an advantage to our enemies. We have a responsibility now, not just to this world and its enduring survival, but to each other. Cecily brought us all together. Let's honour her memory by avoiding her mistakes.
That's all well and good, but someone's got an express delivery of weapons headed to the steeple.
I have every confidence that you will return this violent favour in kind. Only if you can control yourself and commit to what really needs doing in the long term, instead of rushing off like to your death like a fool.
Is that what you think she was? A fool?
Are you sure you want me to answer that question? Something in Necron's expression breaks. A humorless smile cracks up his face. He wipes one cheek with the palm of his hand. It's a laugh that comes out of him, impotent and miserable. I suppose not.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go share the bad news.
He leads the way to his truck, too eager to stay a pace ahead of you and Orica.
I think I'll wait in the trucks when we get to HQ. The last thing we need right now is me flying off the handle at some spoiled little corporal fail trolls, expressionless.
Wise choice. You should do the same, Necron.
Not a chance. I'll leave you out to dry all on your lonesome like that. No siree.
Share a look of skeptical consternation with Orica, who shrugs in response. He slips twice from Necron's hand before he gets the door open. While he gives Orica a lift into the passenger side, you slide into place behind the wheel. I'll drive.
Like hell you will.
Necron, your hands are shaking. He clenches his fingers into a fist, purses his lips in a defiant scowl.
I've got this, Miss Shiri. You can count on me.
You sigh as he climbs up the front seat and forces you to scooch to the middle. The engine roars alive and groans against a rough tug of the gear shift. You idle in place for a few seconds. Necron's grip on the steering wheel is so tight, his knuckles are blue. You rest a hand on his shoulders before he thinks you can see him crumble into a sobbing mess. He uppers the driver's side and jumps out into the night, slamming it behind him. You slide into his place, adjusting what little you can, try to pretend you can't hear Necron hiccuping as he makes his way back around the back. Oh no. I hate it. It feels horrible. You drive. To Necron's palpable annoyance, you strictly obey the speed limit, stop at every light, and dutifully signal your every move to the masses of the trolls you're sure are already beginning to forget tonight's incident. It's not long before the monorail station disappears in the rear view. Up ahead, looming so large it seems like it should only be a few minutes away, stands corporate HQ. You realise quite suddenly how long it's been since your last meal, and resign yourself to waiting even longer still. Necron idly prods at the internals of his metal hand, checking for damage. He loses interest and finds himself staring out the window at passing streetlights, forehead on the glass. Next to you, Orica pulls out a phone and sighs.
We should call Crichton and tell him. Whatever is to tell him.
She puts the thing to her ear and waits, ringing barely audible over the thumb of the engine.
Hey. Yeah, I'm okay. Ronnie's okay too. I'm riding with him and Sherry right now. Sorry for not getting back to you sooner. It's been a hectic couple hours. So, about the mission.
Oh. I don't even know what Crichton and the boys would think at this point. I mean, I know they didn't like Cecily that much, but I don't think they'd be happy. Yes. Yes, I understand. I'm perfectly cognizant of the consequences that this will have to corporate's public image. Thank you. This new art? I think it's new art. The background, anyway. You're now the corporate heir. Oh no. You watch Miffy stand solemn with the phone to her head. Voice is flat and professional now as it would be any other night. It's astonishing, really. Her ability to take official calls for hours on end without crumbling into a ball of hyperventilating panic seems like a genuine superpower, now more than ever. That's a new sprite. Vendor ad spend is irrelevant. I'm certain it will level back out as soon as we've identified the weakness in our broadcasting fortressing. Despite her composure, Miffy's voice sounds smaller to you than normal. That's the acoustics of Cecily's office. It lacks the cavernous quality of most corporate spaces you've spent your life in. Oh, that's where we are! I haven't seen that yet. Forget to humour any other explanations. The two of you decided it would be best to wait out the situation here. When Cecily returns, there are bound to be a lot of questions. Almost absent-mindedly, you run through them again one more time. Casualties are unconfirmed as of yet. We suspect the perpetrator might have cut the broadcast early to sow panic among worker consumers. On the wall in front of you hangs what it is, arguably a family portrait. but your eyes are focused on the nearest point in the air, where a glowing teal orb begins to take shape from nothing. Because no one's reported any bombs going off, that's why. With the behest of your concentration, the transparent orb collapses inward, gains angles and rigid lines, folds onto and through itself in a process of refinement that ends with the creation of a small illusory door. Our stance remains unchanged. With a careful gesture of your hand, the door snaps into place in the entryway of a miniature two-story villa, totally blocking the picture frame from view. No, not yet. Without a tinkerer's sigh of relief and take a step back to evaluate your work. I said no! The door looks good, you think, but the slant of the roof is all wrong. If the rest hadn't been so fiddly, is he making Legos? I think, oh no. If he weren't in the room to be startled by the explosion, you'd be tempted to blow it up and start over from scratch. Is that what we saw? Oh, is that what we saw last time in the comic? It's a joint position of corporate leadership that no further public statements will be made until we have a complete picture of what precisely has occurred. Oh, she's practicing. Arms crossed behind your back, you turn in a slow circle. A teal cobblestone road winds its way through the teal gates of the villa through a field, past a teal farm compound dotted with teal windmills, and into a series of vast teal city complexes that ring Cecily's office end to end. Every data carrying screen and stronghold, yes, I'm looking at the same report as you. It's a model stronghold, what passed for one in the distant age before the Renaissance, anyway. Manifested by the application of your alchemic abilities. Building imaginary cities like this has become a favourite activity during times of stress. Usually you prefer to utilise more tangible building blocks than this, if only because it's more of a challenge. At least this method makes it easier to iron out the little imperfections, details only you tend to notice or care about. Of course, public opinion is down. They've just been lied to by a terrorist. Never seen a place like it in real life, so you have no idea how to judge its realism. All you've got to go on are the disparate, often conflicting accounts of various historians and your own subjective architectural proclivities. Corporate either holds or closely monitors nearly all that remains of these old civilizations. There's still so much that's missing, or that information is classified. Yes, what she said. It's impossibly idyllic, this hallucinatory landscape. No plastic trees, no geomorphic climate control, no artificial intelligence systems for automation, no particleizers or synthetic bolstering of any kind. The closest analogue to corporate's towering, austere HQ, is an immense cathedral, all rounded stone and pendentives, marble columns and gleaming minarets. I said it's classified! Inspecting the cathedral more closely, you find yourself thinking at least the All-Mother gave her subject something pretty to look at. All this commotion over lime blood made you curious about it, you suppose. The Vivifier must have had her work cut out for her. And knowing the few objective truths about her that you do, you figure that if she heard about the situation you're all in, she might laugh. The public broadcast of legally acquired privileged information from a highly sensitive in-progress case does not, under any circumstances, constitute a de facto declassification of said case. Your gaze is suddenly caught by a blank patch of wall beneath a tall spire, so you manifest another orb and begin whistling it down into something to fill in the space. Do not make me repeat myself again. You lost track of how long you've been at this, exactly, or why you've even started it in the first place. It's almost hypnotic, listening to one side of a conversation. And you suppose it's better to build for no reason than to build nothing in the absence of one. Yes, that'll be fine. Maybe there's a lesson in there somewhere. I'm not interested in apologies, just see that it gets done. She hangs up with a barely perceptible sigh. Oh wait, no, she was on the fucking phone. She's not practicing. When I read fast like this, I tend to not really process what's going on properly. Her collected demeanour betrayed only by the sweat beading on her brow. Hemifi approaches you slowly, pinching the bridge of her nose with one hand. This operation has gone about as poorly as it possibly could have. You might live another 50 sweeps and still not be done cleaning up this mess. You have no response to that. She doesn't expect one. To humour the notion that the greater length would be to suggest that the terrorist Ormsey Moore actually succeeded with this stunt. Of course he didn't. It's a fantasy of consequence that will never come true. The corporation absorbs worse atrocities and embarrassments as a matter of course almost every single day, and its subjects have nowhere else to turn besides. That's good, Pepsi. This event won't change the world, and you both know it. A week from now, it won't even be in the news anymore. A video essay or two, perhaps, but by then it'll be relegated to conspiracy. Yeah, I remember that from the turn-in thing. Only in this momentary reflective silence does Hemifi notice the extensive complex of translucent buildings you've assembled around the edges of Cecily's office. She seems taken aback, perhaps surprised most of all by her own inattentiveness. Someone's been keeping himself occupied. There's no one left for me to call. It's between this or today's axial linguistic inference table, and I suck at those. Yes, you do. Oh, that was... Oh, damn it. No, go back. What do they have to say? You shrug, attention fixed on capturing the precise dimensions of a stained glass window small enough to fit in the etched palm of your hand. Roder relayed in a characteristic fashion that Clara is presently indisposed and doesn't wish to speak on the matter. The principal was in the process of assembling the alchemical task force, but all the leads have gone cold now, with suspects in the Snowbound blood case of public knowledge. As for Miss Iapara's ad hoc militia, a frown sours your face. You've overworked the window, lost its meaning in your quest for verisimilitude. It fits well below the spire, but you remain unsatisfied at the details. No response. I see. That is suboptimal. Without meaning to, you bark out a laugh. Miffy's talent for understatement never fails to amuse. It's a good thing she submitted her resignation already, isn't it? Saves her the trouble of an official reprimand when she gets back. Yes, I suppose it does. When? She rolls the word around her tongue and doesn't seem to like the taste. You notice that Miffy is tapping her fingers against the palm of her hand in a choreographed dance, whose steps you immediately recognize. You take that hand into yours and try to sound easygoing. Would you care for a tour? I ought to check back with the security in case there are any updates. If there were any updates, they would already be calling you. Very well, Mr. Enthal. Show me. Spire breaks out across your face despite yourself. Basically, it's a rough interpretation of a Byzantine-era stronghold based on the descriptions from a recent study out in the Historical Division. Oh, I'd love this. I rummaged around the mass hole, what the mass hole had to offer in terms of concrete data, but I had to fudge a lot of details. I think it's a pretty respectable likeness anyway. Except for the stained glass. They didn't have the technology for that back then, I just think it looks neat. She smirks at your knee. Oh, look at her! You draw her attention to a somewhat more diminutive building in the cathedral shadow. This facility right here is a place for community social gatherings and knowledge distribution. Sort of like a primitive HoloNet cafe, but just for books. We wonder why their civilization collapsed. Let's talk about a library. For anyone else, Smithy's sarcasm would be the conversational equivalent of taking a knife right in the blood pusher. I view it as a tone of endearment, like a game of tag or the low-stakes practice duel. It's the closest thing to play you ever get from her, and it's such a relief in this moment, you can almost forget where you are or why you're here. Encouraged to ramble on through every trivial tidbit that crosses your mind, eagerly pointing from structure to structure. It's not often you get to info dump so freely, and even rarer to have Miffy's undivided attention all the while. At least you think you have her undivided attention. She's smiling a little bit every time you glance up at her to check if she's bored, which is good a sign as any. He's just like me! Finally exhausted the facts to share, you straighten your back with pride and lock eyes with Miffy. You're impressed, I'm sure. It is impressive work. It's just regular stuff, really. Looks like more than it actually is to the untrained eye. Lucky for you, I enjoy compliments. You don't give yourself enough credit, Sestro. You're getting better every... A sudden ring comes from the table phone. Without pause, Miffy smiles distant memory as she lunges towards it. She snaps at him and answers. Speak. Watch the tension return to her body. You feel it too. She shoulders the receiver and addresses you. It's the front office. Emergency line. Dreadfully certain certainty. Put it on speaker. A taboo broken in plain sight. Of course. She presses the flashy yellow button with a satisfyingly chunky clunk. Manila? Have I heard that? I might have, maybe volume 10, maybe?
We have a situation downstairs.
Explain.
Oh, fiddlesticks. It's more of an elevator situation now.
Out with it, mix folder.
A pair of harried so-and-sos just stormed past security. Their credentials and analytics show they've entered the building before. Template Beta was one of them, I think. They were saying they have urgent news, but... Well, man, the other was a bulky fellow with a blood-stained robot arm in tow, looking rather surly and dangerous. Should we be scattering the drones?
Before she can answer, the office door swings violently open. You practically jump out of your skin, and your illusory Byzantine city around you flickers in waves of dissipating energy in response. Uh-oh. You immediately recognize them, Material Beta and Necron Export, both looking very much the worse for wear. No civilian should have clearance to the top floor of the building. Given their ties to the case and Cecily's favoritism, you have no doubt they've been given special treatment. You, however, are far more preoccupied with the hallway behind them, waiting, hoping for someone else to follow in their wake. After After a momentary stare down, Himothy speaks with authoritative certainty. Drones will not be necessary. She hangs up as the intruders barge in. You can see their eyes are puffy and irritated. Necron can't look up from the floor more than a second at a time. Pardon me. Mishri closes the door. Your city reforms itself around her ankles. No one else is coming in. Something black licks at the edge of your thoughts. Corrosive, hungry. A mild panic spins up in your lungs, but it's nothing. It's nothing. And then with practiced exactitude, you close yourself off to your own thoughts. Parcel them away behind a door in your inner sanctum. The Enthor line is just as good at putting things out of mind as the opposite. Mr. Exmort, it's a relief to see you in one piece after all. Relief? Yeah. Sure thing. I'm trying to contact the lot of you all night. Why did anyone answer? We're aware of the circumstances, but you at least could have provided what... The least you could have provided was a status update. Where's... Never mind that. You're here now. Debrief us on the mission. I assume that's why you're here. Yes, of course. The mission. I know why they're doing this. You are again Mashiri Lightbeater, suddenly confronted with a task you thought you were prepared for. But now that you're here, the mission was... You look Miffy in the eyes and the words catch in your throat. She carries herself with maturity that it hides her youth, but you see in it now. She is so young, you think, and it hits you that the news you're here to deliver is not about this young woman's employee, but her guardian, her caretaker, her mentor. And she was never just your Morail, was she? You look into the eyes of this girl who loved and idolized Cecily, who aspired to her example at every turn, and you realize that she already knows what you're about to tell her. Suddenly you're overcome by the sensation you were looking into a mirror. You are the woman wishing you didn't have to say it. You are the girl wishing you didn't have to hear it. You are both in this moment wishing desperately for one final diversion of reality, because it is simply too much to bear. She left you. Time and again you tried to stop her, slow her down, change her mind, but she never listened. She was too stubborn to listen. What did you ever say to her now that she's gone? How many regrets will bubble up in your future, dragging you down with the age just as Cecily's grief dragged her down? In a very real sense, she chose her own death over you. You always knew she would. The truth is, you've been practicing for this moment. Rehearsing it step by step, a simulation of loss and grief, just to see what it might feel like. In your line of work, you have to be prepared for anything, the unspeakable most of all. Now the moment is here, at last inarguable and concrete. Cecily Iopara is dead, and the rest of your life is her blast radius. It doesn't feel at all like you thought it would, because it doesn't feel like anything. A cold churn in your gut, a rabid Lucis terror locked tight in a box and buried under miles of practiced impenetrable composure. Why are you so surprised if you knew this day was coming? It feels like being right in the worst way. Oops. It feels like gravity has abandoned your soul and you are slipping down into the static. Shouldn't you be crying? This isn't someone you didn't know or only communicated with once after all. Why aren't you crying? You shared a life with her. Are you a monster? After everything she did for you, with all that she meant to you, you can't even muster up a few tears. This is what she prepared for you for. This is what she gave back. The ability to take hits with stride. Cecily would be ashamed if you wasted tears on her account, right? In the end, she got everything she wanted. And here you are, holding the bag, waiting for someone to tell you what to do. There's a hand on your shoulder, and suddenly the mirror breaks. You turn to see Necron looking down at you with a measure of fragile resolve. I'll take this, Miss Shuri. Always willing to be the hero, Necron steps up, even when he doesn't need to. It was a setup. Classic Honk Beach chase. Rope led us by the sniff holes through just about every slum out of the hold. Of course, I knew what we were getting into, but... Well, anyhow. Son of a gun tricked me with a spoofed emergency call. Pretended to be my gal, used her voice, made it sound like she was in real trouble. I ran after to find her, got jumped. This thing I knew was hogtied in a monorail car with a sock in my mouth and a bomb strapped to my chest on live TV. I tried to tell Cecily to leave me there. For a second I thought she might actually do it, but... Oh, funny. Suppose that just ain't her way. Didn't have time to untie me, though, so she, you know. He's staring past the window now, steady voice starting to tremble. She ran off to catch the sucker and then... God, that Sestro sprite gets me every time. Shaky hands start rattling his mechanics. You find yourself reciting an ancient prayer you learned a long time ago, forgotten until this moment. And then she... One with a please that our roots hold firm in the gale. She might have caught him if she let that bomb go off. That'd be better than this, right? Oh, Mother, please, let us grow twice where the axe is cut. You shouldn't have saved me. Oh, Mother, please, let our seeds spread from the wildfire ashes. Worst bit is, I'm glad she did it. Ain't that a trip? Oh, Mother, please, let us grieve, but half what our grievers shall suffer. She failed the fucking mission for me, and I've got the nerve to be glad. Wait. What do you mean she failed? You look at him, Necron looks at him, and if he looks at him, he meets each of their gazes in turn, confused, annoyed. Why are you all staring at me like that? Oh. Necron stammers aimlessly. Miffy turns away, covering her mouth with one delicate hand. Take a few gentle strides towards Sestro, arm outstretched. You should sit down, Mr. Enthal. I don't think I will. I'll just let you explain what's going on. Oh. Please, I don't want you to hurt yourself. Hurt myself? Why would I... Miffy, what is this? Why are you... What is everyone crying about? We received a transmission shortly after her disappearance. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What are you apologizing for? I don't understand what's going on. There's a loud crunch, like someone stepping on a bag of chips. You turn to see Necron grimacing, glowing teal shack squished between his fingers. Behind it hangs a framed portrait of Cecily standing proud next to Cesar and Miffy, both looking so much younger and more innocent than they do today. Ah, hell. Cesar throws up his arms and busts at the damage as Necron clenches his hand, brushing debris off like astral jet Sam. Excuse me! Necron backs away and tries to look apologetic, but it's too late. Underneath this facade of terse composure is the air of a man about to give an inadvisably large piece of his mind to all parties present. Yeah, you're excused. Sit up here, spoiled rotten in your tower. Little toy cities, looking down on us like nobody's your whole life. Making choices on our behalf. I don't like that. All you are is excuses. Careful, Mr. Exmort. Miffy hisses, standing poised and at the ready. Necron sizes her up and can't help but scoff. Don't you fucking bow up towards me. I ain't afraid of you, kid. Could you say the same? You're the ones who put her on this damn case. This is your coop we're arriving in. You're duplicitous little... Necron. It's not their fault. You need to calm down. So that picture there. Two grinning wigglers under Cecily's wing. It's perverse, ain't it? She raised you. She taught you everything you know, and you sent her out into the meat grinder anyway. May as well pull the trigger yourselves. We tried to stop her! Yeah, and I bet you're real convincing, too. Don't talk to me, Miffy, like that! Please just... Where is she? Where is Cecily? All the air goes out of the room. Necron's mouth hangs open just so, shocked that the message hasn't gotten through already. You know this will only get worse, but you're powerless to do anything but watch. You really need me to spell it out for you, son? She's dead. Dead? D-E-A-D. Kaput. Gunzo. Shipped onto the farm upstate. 6 feet fucking under. Worm food supreme. You dig? It's that inconvenient thing that keeps happening to all your employees. Thank you for your input, Necron, but I think you should go back to the truck. Why? So you can apologize on my behalf? Tell him I'm not in my right mind or some such? You're right. I must have been some real nasty... I must have been on something real nasty. It's been on something real nasty thing I could buddy up with the regulator and not get my push ripped still beating out of my chest. Go back to the truck right now, or can it? Oh god, she's dropping a quirk. You barely raise your voice, but it's enough to shock everyone in the room. Necron most of all. He stumbles back a step, barely standing, a house of cards swaying in the wind tunnel. I'm so sorry. I really was trying to avoid making a scene. It's fine. Just get him out of here for his own sake. He put an arm on Necro's shoulder, trying to usher him towards the door. One step. Another. He was at the door when he stops walking. A brief hysterical laugh escapes his throat. It's over, man. It's all over. He slips out from under you and slouches against the door frame. He's making this so much harder than it needs to be. You could scream for all the help he's been. But it's the air who demands your attention, looking so lost, so uncertain. His voice is barely more than a whisper. How do you know that she's... The transmission I mentioned. It came from Cecily's communicator. They told us, checkmate. And then they hung up. God. But that could mean anything. I'm on the wrong monitor. I'm sorry, Mr. Enthal. Sestro. But it only means one thing. In sight. In mind. Genua Sestro Enthal, spotlit and terrified, blind to what lurks ever closer in the dark beyond the stage. But that can't be right. She promised me she'd come back. I don't like this track. Mashiri says something you don't process. You're staring at her Miffy, begging her to take your side, but she can't even look at you. She's crying around shapeless words. There are 10,000 needles in your lungs. She promised. She promised. There's no way she'd make a promise she knew she couldn't keep. Right? She didn't promise, Sestro. Yings of an earthquake rattle the walls of your Byzantine dream world. A bust of Saint Ballin II begins weeping sickly green tears, his antiquated microphone tripping like melted plastic. Do we know where she's... Is there any remains? No. Please don't. I'm going to be sick. Don't say that! Lights in here are too harsh. I'm not sure. Their lips move, but you can't hear what they're saying beyond the ringing in your ears. I want to hold out hope. Nothing is real. Did she leave anything behind? Was there a note for us, or... She's gone. What parting words? She's gone and she knew she was going. She didn't! She couldn't have! Of course she knew, child. None that I'm aware of. Promises are for wrigglers. That doesn't sound like white noise. I believe Cecily thought she was coming back. Promises are for dying women. Oh god. She would never abandon us. I refuse to believe it. Why is that tapping at your window? Hey, she didn't abandon us. She was taken, do you hear me? The devil sets fire to a cathedral. Taken somewhere. It's where I should be. You're not real. Nothing is real. The city is on fire and it's taking the future with it. Stay here, Sestro. Focus on who you are. You want to throw up. It's getting too hot to breathe. Somewhere in the middle of it all, Necron returns. You don't know why, you don't care. Necron, you need to leave. You want everyone who has ever drawn breath to cease. Your body rises, volatile electric synapses jolting around you.
Grumper, is that kid about to explode?
Want to drop a bomb on history. It grows in strength and intensity, alchemy piercing through the hearts of everyone in the office. Your subconscious thoughts are all that keep these straws standing. The furnishings, reports, files, memories, none of them are as lucky.
Get back to that truck now!
You want to obliterate language and time and love until all existence is just a hole for you to die in. You were never made for it. You're only a legacy, and now you're forced to carry her too. Is this how she felt after Alina died? Inky black smoke rises from shattered windows. They do not repair themselves immediately as they should. She neglected to bring them up to code. Hit it now. Or take me too. Precise angles bow in sickly curves dripping with translucent fire. Drones were called. The building is under siege. Sirens blare. All of them are destroyed the moment they enter the office. Amidst of it all, familiar hands find yours. Sissy didn't hate you. She doted on you night and day. It almost made me jealous how shocked she was with you. Blows become mouths, howling, screaming. She loved you! I love you! Come back to me! You're lost. Everything is lost. Lost. Everything is lost. You are responsible. I'm responsible. The worst thing that ever happened to her. And then I sent her off to die. Oh. Everything around you loses coherence. The only sense left is of regret. You want to tell her what you've learned, but you can't. You want to show her what you've built, but you can't. You will never hear her voice again. You'll never be frustrated by her again. You never get to laugh with her again. You never ask her for advice again. You never get to share your future with her. Your future a depth blacker than any polluted ocean. You're thinking of speaking or dreaming, or are you just dead? Everyone is already dead, they just haven't got the message yet. You want her to tuck you in again. You want to tell her you're sorry. It's not your fault. Arms around your shoulders, cold heat seeps into your skin. It's like falling into water. It's not her Miffy's fault. The voice is the center of the universe, suddenly the only thing that makes sense. It's not Necron's or Orca's or mine. With your aching body, flit open your eyes to see the blackened walls, still flaming against the sprinklers. Did you do that? She chose to walk into the mouth of the monster alone. You feel exhausted in every limb, conscious mind attached to cloth only barely patched together around this force of calm in Mashiri's voice. It was the hard-bite look that the monster chose to bite down. Your eyes drift closed again. A sleep of indistinct dreaming swallows you whole. Unlike your typical comas, this time you do not give yourself the luxury of study. You are drowned in your sorrow and grief, and you are powerless to push through it. You will awaken again around 2 weeks later, No less worse for wear and no more consoled. Your only comfort the fact that Hamiffy stayed by your side the entire time. And much like she does, you throw yourself back into your work to stave off the ache. It does not work for either of you, not entirely. But you try. Later, you and Hamiffy will be picking up right where Cecily Iopara left off, though you do not know it yet. Everyone involved with Operation Snowbound Blood will. All of you connected to an incursion of grand design, an end in perfect cataclysm, spurned by the very perpetrators of this case, far closer to you in history than you could have realized. But that is long from now, and no less of a weight on your soul. Someone you loved has died. The memory of it will haunt you forever. Not that again. Are we gonna see him? I think we are. No, where are we? Wait! Wait! Sparse moments of light in the dark season are always the brightest. In the early hours, both suns have not yet perched on their summit. Heat sits pleasantly around your shoulders, unlike the harsh rays of midday. More a warm shroud, comfortable. You sit sprawled on a wooden bench in the patio, limbs loose and lazy, making full use of the several colourful cushions that line your resting place in the shade. Your eyes closed as you lean your neck against the backrest. One of your senses put on hold, this is what you feel. Cushions are soft, luxurious even, as the gentle, sweet aroma of the garden, tended to with such careful, loving hands, envelops you. Lilac and honey. I think I know what... You incline your head towards the source of cheerful, meandering humming, couched by the low droning of the worker bees. Your mouth slowly shifts into a smile. She doesn't really realize she's doing it half the time. You breathe in deep, let the air out in a soft sigh. Yes, luxurious is best for these late-day moments, sequestered between the ever-diminishing gaps of your busy schedule. Always busy these days. Such as a lot of those in your position. It bothers her how often you're in contact with violence. We've had a few circular arguments in the past about the high-priority cases the corporation is ever more willing to assign you to. She's ready to desensitize you, whatever that means. If you stop to hem and haw and be sensitive every time a split-second decision had to be made on the field, well, you'll not be coming back to her at the end of the night before long. You save lives, keep corruption from seeping into the veins of society. For that, the risk is worth it. This is a truth you've held close ever since you first stepped inside the corporate building, Proserpina at your side, and you know it still, case after case after case. Your mind wanders to your newest assignment, a priority Aleph, which is a not once in a binary eclipse level of a problem, which is good. Petty crimes get... Your thought process skips a beat. Priority Aleph cases are not handed out to freshly promoted mid-level officers. What were you doing earlier tonight? You were called to... You were... Wait, your body jolts into action, some blind instinct screaming at you to hold yourself together. You sit up, blood pressure hammering inside your chest cavity, passing along your stomach, looking for... Nothing. There's nothing there, you think to yourself, dumbfounded as you stare at both your hands clinging to the front of your shirt. 1, 2, left and right. There you are, whole and healthy in your civilian clothes. Why did you... Cecily? Oh my god! People were saying she was red blood, because that kind of made sense, I think, but... Oh, I didn't think we would see it! Oh, she does not look like how I imagine. Oh my god, you are a pretty lady. Oh my goodness! You're not falling asleep on the job, are you, Miss Iopara? Blood falls back into place, every listless anxiety dissolved into a puddle, powerless in the face of the sunniest apiculturist you ever had the grace to know. And I'd never dream of it, Alina. Oh my god. I didn't think we were going to see her, but oh, I guess we are. A teasing smile takes a more sympathetic bent as she takes your face in. I know it's early. They do say that good company comes a long way, though. The macer plucks the bonnet from her head, from her head, and she is right. Never mind who this they is. No more shadows to hide the beauty of her face. I find myself sitting with the best kind, as a matter of fact. It feels like a dream. A pang in the back of your throat surprises you. You're not prone to sudden bouts of emotion, especially not over mundane, everyday exchanges. What has gotten into you? Okay, so this is either a flashback or it's the afterlife. But is this what the afterlife is like? I don't know. Is what happens when souls return from Caparia? To Caparia, sorry? Push every other stray thought thought and half-remembered impression from your mind and let yourself sink into this feeling. The simple joy of seeing someone who has been with you every night since grubhood. You are tethered in mind, body, and soul, too far from each other even when you're less than 2 feet away. Just lost in thought again. That's just a bad habit. Keep it up and you may not find your way out of that think pan. Haha, you say, and she doesn't need to join. She doesn't ask to join you. She just sits then falls against your side. The cheek squished up against your shoulder, a hand lounging lazily on your midsection. I would hate to lose my favourite assistant to the machinations of her own mind, especially when I needed my gloves to scrape the suckle and you're too deep in it to bring them to me. That happened once. The morning brings out my contemplative side. Of course, many things to consider. Well below if you're sworn to and such. I was going to ask why she doesn't have a quirk, but it's probably because she's talking to Cecily. You let the soft jab slide and two of you hold this moment together. Sometimes her grip tightens, sometimes yours does. Suns don't move an inch, even after the second hand of Lena's novelty clock has made countless rotations inside your hive. Tick-tock, tick-tock. After the pleasant ambience of a small flock of avian lucci passes by, you find a dull enough question to ease your silence back into domestic bliss. Oh my god. Okay, you can't hear them, actually. They've been working hard this week, haven't they? Well, the dark season isn't particularly kind to them. Bees thrive during hot weather after their dormancy from the cold. They need the suns of flowers and to be able to fly around and build again. Not that they don't do anything during their harsher climate. Survival takes skill. It gets restless even when they're resting. Perfect workers. I wonder where they get that admirable drive. One would think that you eventually tire of serving a single purpose, night in and night out, even with an off-season. She shrugs against you. Well, they're right, Lucci. Without a charge bonded to them, serving their monarch is reason enough. I can at least help them do their best. Make it as comfortable as possible through the bad seasons. Also, the honey is delicious. She lifts herself up and out of the bench with a decisive push. You glance up at her, already missing her warmth. Speaking of, I know just the thing to make for such a lovely morning now. Be right back. Disappears inside, your eyes trailing after her. The muffled sound of dinnerware reach you, the tick-tock of the clock, the soft buzzing of your tiny backyard companions. Imagine them all clustered together again, safe in the dark of their miniature hive. It's only when you jolt with the press of something cold against your cheek that you realise you've nearly nodded off. Alina! God, look at this pretty lady. She's dead. I think we're in the afterlife. Yeah. She just laughs at you, holding an admittedly very inviting cocktail in an old-fashioned glass inches away from your face, condensation already gathering on her fingers. Peace offering? You take it from her, but do make it a point to scowl. Don't be a grump. I made your favourite, see? It is your favourite. Bourbon mixed with fruits and a dash of Alina's hive-grown honey syrup, golden and spiced, and there's the strange pang in the back of your throat again. That sounds fucking delicious. Oh my god. I mean, I've had honey rum, it's the next best thing. You feel the cold of the glass seep into your fingers and as you turn towards her. Thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. She lowers herself back on the bench and onto your side and raises her own glass in invitation. To our loose side of the world and their admirable work ethic. And to their wise keepers. Clink rings clear through the yard, a pleasant note to end a hard morning's work on. You bring the glass to your lips, anticipating the tried and true results of your mate's expert talents in mixology, and the drink coats your tongue. Huh. This doesn't taste like you remember at all. You can taste honey, you can taste bourbon, even the fruits and the spices. It's just not meshing right. Like someone got a list of all the individual elements and tried to imagine what they would be like together, without the actual interplay of flavours you're so familiar with. What? Oh. Did you figure it out? Apologies. I've never been very good at tastes. Hold on a second! Hair standing on end, you realise that you have no idea who is sitting beside you. Okay, I think I know who this might be. Like someone seen directed is just called cut from behind a camera. You watch as this person, this thing wearing your leather skin like a coat, simply stops pretending. Everything that makes Alina herself leaves it in an instant. A cruel, perfect mockery of her. It takes concentration for your glass not to break under your hold. Who are you? It's your training that allows you to keep the steel in your voice, despite the terrified hammering of your chroma beater. Tell me what you've done with her. Now! You are really stubborn. I think you already know, don't you? You open your mouth to protest, to demand that it cut the bullshit that you've had plenty of grandstanding criminal freaks try to rope you into a speech for, but the words die unsaid on your lips. You think about your newest assignment, Operation Snowbound Blood. Blood bubbles up your throat, thick and too much of it, burning your lungs as you try to pull in the air. You want to claw at it, but your arm's gone, more blood gushing out around the cleaved joint. Your abdomen is torn open. A slippery mess of guts pours out of the wound. Blood seeps deeper and deeper within yourself, and then out onto the ground with your entrails. You can't breathe. You can't fight this. The horror that wears Alina's skin clicks her tongue. Oh my. This will not do. Blood and viscera disappear. Your arm is back. Your lungs convulse as you choke on a gulp of air. You're sitting on the bench, whole again. There you go. Much better. Don't worry, that's the way of traumatic final. That's the way of traumatic final moments. The imagined body tends to remember once the mind does. As I was saying, I'm unable to properly replicate anything that I haven't personally experienced. Talking as though what just happened has no effect on it. Your body nothing more than a milquetoast display that will soon fade into the rest of the scene. A single frame out of focus. Okay. Does it even see you? It's strange, isn't it? Every single cell in an electrical blip feeds into what? It's what experiencing them are facets of a cohesive selfhood. Flesh, blood, taste. Also fickle in design. So prone to error, yet none that live can be without it. Every word passes through you. Vibrations, pure noise that make your head feel hollow. They ring but form no image. Noise compounding into itself until your own thoughts drown it out. Why are you doing this to me? Oh. Doesn't blink. It makes Alina's cheeks soften into a kind of pity one might show a stray lusus on the street. You hate it. Your ending was unsatisfying now. This is your last opportunity to rectify that. What is happening? What does that mean? It carries on like you didn't say a word. Wait. Okay, there's two. I was thinking there were three people I thought this might be. I think it's two people now. A satisfying personal journey is a moving thing, rising and falling in response to conflict within the external and internal realm. Yours, though, flat line, dead long before you were. You learn nothing, Cecilia Parra. I'm offering you a final chance to do so. Alina's jaw moves to make the sounds, but the shape of them is all wrong, like a puppet animated by a clever arrangement of strings, or maybe an image formed to approximate what a person might talk like. How could you have believed it's charade, even for a moment? Terror seizes you, your muscles pull taut enough to be forced into stillness. It's your body's instinctive response to what's most precious to you, carved out and twisted into a mockery of itself. The creature tilts its head, eyes completely devoid of that spark you know so well pinning you to the spot. You peer into a vastness that has no regard for you and hold your breath. Not Alina, oh my god. You look lost, Regulator. Go on, I'm certain there are many questions you wish to address. We only have so much time to do this. Questions, even at the end of the line you find yourself overcome with them. We're still... oh my god! This epilogue is so much different than I thought it would be. Who are you? Oh. What did you do to Alina? Oh, wait. So it was... is this... oh my god. Always overflowing with everything you demand to know. Here, I will help. Where am I? Much better. It clasps Alina's hands together, a pantomime of delight that seems anything but genuine. A part of your mind that can still feel anger bristles at the condescension. You appreciate directness, so I'll be direct with you. You're trapped in this place, just as I am. I know it was white noise on the cover, but I'm gonna overthink this, aren't I? You scan your surroundings as though a clearer answer might have been carved into the earth or scratched across the patio, and find predictably none. It's Alina's hive, with all its mundane details that you carry like something fragile between your ribs, but it's not really it, is it? The beasts have stopped their droning. No wind whispers through the grass and leaves. All sound has died down. Was it ever there to begin with? You look distressed. I must apologize for deceiving you. I meant to provide a peaceful transition, but certain things I'm unable to convincingly replicate.
sensations.
It lifts one hand, watches the fingers as they bend and flex. I've not experienced any myself, not for a long time. Cold eyes bore into yours again. It gets lonely in here. It makes it easy to forget. Again, the fear prickles your spine. Are you going to be trapped here with this thing inhabiting your mate's body forever? Where is here? You've always enjoyed solving a good mystery. No, you know you would have settled for fading away in ignorance. You would accept this somewhat turbulent introduction if it brought you close to the truth. Stubbornness is something of a defining trait of yours, isn't it?
I think I know who this is! Oh my god!
It doesn't stop to wait for your answer, if you even had one to give. You won't be surprised to learn that the most preferred to pass on with a lighter examination of emotional baggage. All this regret, this tortured nostalgia that you carry, staring you in the face. I most don't enjoy talking to me. That's the least shocking part of the experience so far. But it seems I've gotten distracted from your original question. This place is a blank slate, one could say. The prison that I'm trapped within, yes, and my one window to the tree of life grown in my absence.
I was right the first time!
Kind of. Wasn't clear before, it is now. You finally have a picture of who lies underneath the veneer of your former love. You were never told that she was cruel.
Oh my god! This is insane!
It's what remains of me. My prison, my respite, my multitudes, my everything. This is the crucible where all souls rest, where the strong-willed conscious and the fleeting unconscious alike find peace. Here I can weave anything I desire, match any narrative, every character, their emotional needs, and eventually, their ending. Dry acidic bile slips up your throat before you swallow it back down. Cold sweat is beaded on the back of your neck, leaving goosebumps as it rolls into your collar. You are a primal thing, cornered and trembling. Around you, Alina's hive cracks like old paint, chips peeling off to reveal something else. Vibrant colours of all shades and hues, a kaleidoscopic burst of unadulterated sensation, the disparate trillions of souls that make them up, and all of them around for far longer than your single tiny blink of a life. The building blocks of existence and its aspects, both dormant and not, cascading into itself. Unrealized infinities dancing hollow steps only audible to those within, and which only one being can truly fathom. You can hardly croak out the words you want to say. Is this my judgment? You hold a shattered glass between your teeth and makes your voice crack. Am I here so you can decide what happens to me next? A soft, sad laugh, and the All-Mother's puppeteered hand raises up to cup your cheek. You wish to recoil from it, but you're still paralysed in place. The warm touch that could once unravel you is delicate and utterly wrong. Pity drips from Alina's words like a honey turned sour. Oh, Cecily. No. You're not that special. Almost nobody is. Hand falls away, and with it, your ability to speak follows the same path as your body. Morality plays no role in our encounter. I'm no arbiter, here to meet our rewards or punishment. Nor am I of the final act, the deus ex machina that validates all the choices you've made. Even at this moment, I'm having conversations just like this one, with thousands upon thousands of extinguished souls. Every blade of grass, every dying star, every animal and troll and species in between, they face me in their final moments. Nothing you could have done, better or worse, would have led to a different outcome. These ideas of justice, notoriety, and meaning that mortal life harbours are fleeting, only relevant as they unfold. You didn't make right choices or wrong choices. You just made choices. Yours. You can't believe what you're hearing. Countless days of pondering your position, the weight of your actions and their purpose, the effects it had on the world writ large, all of them crumble to dust along with your corpse. You'd always hoped there would be a verdict. Someone tell you that you did right or wrong. Said you were only with pure indifference. No sweet words to absolve your turmoil, nor bitter scorn to condemn your purpose. Only a hollow resolution. Here you're meeting with freedom in its purest form. Creation without limitation. A hand wet of blood is still a hand. Your soul is still your soul, with all its weight upon it, and your story, sordid and painful and violent as it is still a story. The essence of which is mine to cherish. As long as I remain in this state, it's my responsibility to retain it and ensure it is never lost. So the world continues to spin properly upon my return. Austin always said this. He said going full Guion or full Caparia is bad, and this is why. Because she's a bitch. She doesn't bother elaborating further. It's not a sentiment you can understand. Still, she does try to soften the visible blow. You're here to be remembered, Cecily. Words hang in the air, poison gas waiting to invade your body on the next inhale. You hold your breath, grit your teeth as though you could resist the truth in Caparia's words by bracing against them. Just as your body is incapable of surviving without air, you cannot defy the gravity of this final revelation. With its pull, something inside you cracks. It truly was all for nothing. Does Caparia sing all for naught? Oh my god! It's all a ruse, guys. It's all a ruse. Guion's not the real villain. It's Caparia. Caparia is the real villain of Vastera. I knew it! Ah! You were for nothing. Nothing but the entertainment of cosmic powers who knew the doomed terminus of your path and were indifferent to it. Your losses, your regrets, the pain you inflicted to demarcate yourself were only ever a smudge against the negative space of a universe that would be no different if you never existed. The consequences of your actions were only as big as the moments they happened within. The protection you gave only a salve. The pride you built nothing but a chip on your shoulder. Oh gods. Realize the irony in saying that in front of existence's fountainhead. What did I do? You don't know what it's in reference to. Everything, maybe. Keening fills your ears. The sound a body makes when it can fit no more grief. It takes you a moment to realize it's coming for you. Finally, you're able to move, but it's not decisive. It's gravity taking its toll, buckling your knees, sending you to the ground. Your cheeks are wet. Tears blur your vision into a nonsensical mess of shape and colour. A jagged sob claws its way up your throat. In the middle of all this, Alina's figure stands unmoving, untouched by the torrent of pain pouring out of you. You'll have to spite yourself, even as the tears keep coming. You're not sure why. You suppose it's all the same anyway. This must be a lot to accept. Her voice suggests that it's not, but that she's trying to humour you like one might a child throwing a tantrum. You will yourself to stop crying. At length, the tears ebb. I realise you must feel like your entire existence was in vain. But that is not the case. Even without a grander purpose, your actions still had a meaning when you took them. They were witnessed and they will be preserved. To think otherwise is to tread into the void. The zealots and storybooks ring with any modicum of truth. You can only assume that she means her split equals influence is far-reaching. I wonder if meeting him would have panned out any better. My son has relayed your story to the best of his ability. It will be contained within his telling, with all the intricacies and contradictions that he's been able to capture. And Cecily, it is wonderful. It shall be remembered fondly. By me, if by nobody else. You stare into the unknowable depths of her eyes. How many such stories has she witnessed? How many destinies is she preserving from oblivion? You wipe your face until you've scrabbled all the evidence of your outburst. For several moments you are lost as to what there is left to say. The writing is clear. There's no use bargaining or asking for anything else. There are no second chances, there isn't a do-over, there isn't a nowhere for you to go except with her. Any indignance would only be responded to with measured pleasantries and vague allusions to something greater that is not yours to witness. You spent so much of your life ready to die, only to find that there is more, always more. It feels like a cruel joke. So, what do you want to do? What is left? Could you really act like her again? Like you did before? Of course. I know everything about Alina, just as I know everything about you. You'd never be able to tell if that's what would make you feel at peace. Peace. You never thought peace was an option. The world went sour and cold after losing her, as you followed suit. Even in the moments where you allowed yourself to pause, you still felt that all-consuming dread licking at your heels. That was an imperfect recall guiding your recall guiding your hand at times. Alina, your shield, and Proserpina are always ready to cut down all who dare take that step too close to you. Nobody in life is free from your pain. Everyone, everything after Alina, hurt. They hurt because of you. But if it's okay for you to do this, if you give permission for one last selfishness, then yes, I would like that. It would be nice to pretend that you were a version of yourself who never had to hurt at all. Caparian nods, a gentle curve to her lips that is, for once, not out of place on Alina's face. Close your eyes, Cecily. The sparse moments of light in the dark season are always the brightest. In the early hours, both suns not yet perched on their summit. Heat sits pleasantly around your shoulders, unlike the harsh rays of midday, more a warm shroud. Your cocktail glass sweating between your fingers. Inside, the ice melted to smooth, round pebbles. Cecily, are you still with me? Been quiet for a while. I hate how pretty she is, even though it's not her. You look up at her, hallowed in the pinks of morning, and hold this moment like a ripe berry between your teeth. You smile, the berry bursts. Yes, I'm right here. It's a beautiful morning. Alina sits next to you, her thigh a comfortable, familiar press against yours. She's warm. She rests her head on your shoulder. It is, isn't it? Oh my god. That's it. We're gonna get the credits. Oh my god. That's...
She's facing a troll of green.
Oh my god.
Who works behind the scenes unseen. And it's a race against the clock to stop his schemes. He weaves like you're losing your mind. But when you got the call, and you knew that was all, where she stood there lay nothing, just her work and her desk. She was gone.
We're not done. There he is! That was fucking awesome. I loved that so much. I'm feeling a lot of things right now. Hey, it's who I thought was less green was Alina at first. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. How did you enjoy this portion of our story? We're looking forward to its conclusion. Also, we may discuss its merits now that you've had the chance to see it all play out. Don't tell me. Are you surprised to see me? No. If that's the case, then you really shouldn't be. I'm the quintessential narrator of these programs we viewed together. That much should be common knowledge. I've been here since the very beginning, though whose beginning might be up for debate. It all depends on the order in which you've opted to experience this. Hopefully the decision was a comfortable one. I know, more than anyone else, how exhausting it is to follow the footsteps of events that, in the moment, come off as extraneous. I don't remember if I gave him an American accent or not in the later reads. Oh well. I can assure you it is not the case for those linked to Operation Snowbound Blood, however. No, their mission is just as crucial to our grander narrative as anything else. Everything else. Surely that much is obvious if you've followed me this far. I would hope so, at least. Now that we find ourselves here, I get the distinct feeling you'd appreciate further insight into this world and the trolls we've grown familiar with. I'd truly like to thank you for going through this story by my side. Remembering what I previously had to say about it, perhaps. Almost every step that these actors take, entangled in this intricate web of relevance, are ones I've recorded for posterity. Not to say that I haven't seen it all play out before. The hypothetical's equilibrium is none too kind to linearity of any sorts. In fact, often I've had to make time to intersperse it between my current analyses and necessary viewings. As I said, I'm not entirely sure what context you've already experienced, but I can only imagine it's been equally as fickle and unimaginably hard to navigate on your end. That is what makes the viewership, the catharsis of witnessing these entwining paths as they develop, as rewarding as they are intriguing. So I would take the time to evaluate multiple perspectives, see the world from various angles, to give life to those who inhabit it. It is only fair that everyone involved is given their fair shake, myself included, of course. What about me, you say? Well, I'm not sure how much I am at liberty to disclose. We could be anywhere, couldn't we? I'd hate to tell you something you already know. Or worse yet, something you don't. What I will say is that even after having gone through what's available to me endless times over, I try to understand all of these events. I simply know they happen. Lingering questions have me in their grip, until I answer them. Well, let's just say my food for thought has turned me into a buffet filled fit for gluttony. Always working with assumptions and percentages, I am. The job truly never does get any easier. At present, I find myself most curious about what this means for my greater mission. How it shall loop back around into the whole of what must be done to reach our best possible outcome. What else Cecily herself would have thought about it. It's not easy to speak for what's on another person's mind. That's part of the fun. To extrapolate on what we know and try and guess what happens next. I feel there are still portions missing from my current context. Certain scenes have passed me by, or simply haven't occurred at all from my perspective. My television has been having technical difficulties as of late. But I'm sure that's just my audience's way of telling me to slow down. They'll rerun themselves when the moment is right. That's for the best. My friends always say I need to give myself a break. I then have to remind them that breaking bones is painful and bad for your health. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to stay and exposit for my amusement, the next show is about to air. It stars 12 aspect holders you might have seen before, along with a few intermissions hosted by yours truly. But fret not, dear viewer, our parting is only such via the smallest technicality. I still have quite a while until I reach my limit, so let's enjoy each other's company to the fullest while we can. I know you've always loved my stories. I'd love nothing more than to continue relaying them to you. Now, on to business, before you. I proffer a final set of choices. To send you to one of the several destinations I've mapped where this journey is best settled. Do choose wisely. I'd hate for you to be lost among the many branches of the probable. There are some less than savoury interlopers who tread around those parts, so keep your best foot forward. So, okay. Excellent choice. Adieu for now. I look forward to meeting you again. Somewhere, sometime, same channel. I just realized that was a bad idea. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what it opened. There it is. Yeah. So I had already seen this in the files. I knew this was going to be on here. I assumed they were going to get sent it. I didn't think so much was going to happen. Anyway. Oh, it's because it's opening Chrome. Yeah, it opened Deacon Reconstruction. That's it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Neptune drew Arlena, I realized that. Who drew White Noise? Zam hasn't drawn anything since. Heather! We haven't had enough Heather art. The spray, sorry, I forget which they prefer to go by. Who else was there? I think that was it. Yeshin again, unfortunately. Should I go? Yeah. I kind of want to go over my thoughts overall. Rom did. I knew. Some part of me knew it was Rom. Rom is such a legend. I think that was that in one of the new albums? I think it might have been. Hey, I didn't. God. Anyway, this has been. I'm always bad at articulating my thoughts when it comes to things like these, like in the moment. But it's been so fun to follow this for the past what? Has it been 4 years? Maybe it might have been more. When did? I don't remember when this first came out, but yeah, there's nothing there now. Hold on. Is there any achievements I've missed? I don't know. I don't think so. Everything you did for her. Checkmate. Okay, yeah. What do I even say? What do I even say? Cecily is as a protagonist, is very... She's complicated. We all know Cecily's complicated, but we love that about Cecily, even though she's a cop. But I don't know. She's not, obviously. She's very morally grey. I'm gonna be. When it's in the moment, I'm gonna be saying very surface level things that everyone can garner. But you know, she's kind of, she's you know, kind of chained by her duty, I guess, just by the just being a regulator in general. It's kind of ruined her. It's taken everything from her, and also it's broken her. Like, especially in Volume 12, it really goes into how unwell Cecily is. I want to do an essay on Cecily Iapara. I was genuinely considering doing that for my university dissertation. But yeah, I did like Cecily. Even though, especially in this one, and well, this episode and this volume in general, she does some very not nice things. Let's just say that. Sestra and Himifi, we love Sestra and Himifi. I actually made a Himifi skin on a catalog the other day, on catalog avatar creator. I don't know. Maybe I should do a ranking of the volumes. I'll have to go through them again. But yeah, Ripite's fun. Siraj is fun. Bitcon is the perfect male. Sorry guys, but this is what the perfect male looks like. You say bye to your Sigma males, now we got Bitcon males. Haha. Husky is adorable. Dari's alright. Arca is probably top 5 characters, I think. Ocius, well, I would adopt him, honestly. Do I even want to go over all these? Who do I have really strong thoughts on? Crichton's volume I love a lot, even though I feel like a lot of it is kind of well, actually, never mind. I was about to criticize it, but then I realized that the thing that they did is okay to do. It's okay to write based on your learned experiences. Let's just say that. This Sine's Sine's volume, I think, is probably gonna end up being the most underrated one, even though it's really important. It's probably because it's the first time we get introduced to Sine, so it doesn't hit as hard as it should for most people. Valtel, I loved Valtel's, and Sabi. I loved these two, and these two. Probably my favorite might be Catalyst. It might be Catalyst. Yeshin. I thought we still don't know where Yeshin is. We don't know what's going to happen with her, but I don't know. Oh, I think yeah. So the mystery portion of this, it wasn't great. Maybe that's because that's not the true focus. Maybe so, but I mean, just reading the Trollodex cards on syndication, you can tell. Obviously, oh yeah, she's the trucker. She operates trucks and such. Someone, who has access to all the trucking data or whatever, leaks the Lineblood info. So obviously, yeah, it's her. But that's the point, because Cecily is intentionally ignoring the most obvious candidate, because she's the definition of a flawed protagonist. Maybe even more so. Yeah, I mean, she was alright. She wasn't on Romem's villain album, so I'm assuming she's not going to come back. I actually thought her volume was going to end with her getting assassinated for knowing too much, but that's just me. Onsi, I think, is kind of wasted potential, because he kind of... I don't know. I was expecting more from him. He kind of introduced himself as a secondary antagonist who's separate from the main like antagonist, and he kind of just ends up being their pawn, I guess. Which maybe that's my fault for setting my expectations so high. But oh well, I don't know. I think I mean, he's a cool villain and all. I think people online are kind of weird about him. Villain culture in general is just really weird. But you know, keep in mind, guys, this is the guy who gets people to kill themselves for fun and profit. Well, I don't know. We didn't really get much of his like origin or anything. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we know enough. Maybe we don't. It doesn't deserve to know. We don't deserve to know more about him. Obviously, these two, yeah. The Weird Al scene is still the hardest shit that's come out of Vastera. And this epilogue, yeah, I don't know what the. Yeah, that was Snowbound Blood. It's weird to think that it is finally over. There's nothing more to wait for, and yeah, Warthorn Trails isn't happening. I don't know what's going to happen with what they had planned for Warthorn Trails. What I assumed Warthorn Trails was going to be was like some kind of novel focusing on the cast after Intermission 2 Side 2 in the barn. We're just going to have a bunch of interactions between all those characters. I don't know. But, well, I mean, it's getting repurposed into the comics somehow, so we'll see what happens with that. Ooh, hooey. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey. With Cecily and everyone else. Once I get home from North Carolina, I will try to upload that Vastera video. I've been putting it off because half of the audio is good and half of the audio is me recording on my PC. So, again, thank you all for watching. This was awesome. This was so good. I loved it. With me being simple again with my compliments, but I don't know. I'm always awkward about complimenting things. I don't know why. So thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't get enough comments. I get a reasonable amount of likes, but not enough comments, discussions and such. Maybe because I don't have enough interest. Anyway, this has been Snowbound Blood, a Vastera story, and I'll see you again on Reconstruction.